Hi, my name is Katie Hartford Hogue, and I'm here with Matt Combs and Greg Reich, and we are here to talk to you about John Hartford's mammoth collection of fiddle tunes. It is a new book that has just come out, containing 176 original tunes by John Hartford, written from his personal journals. It also includes artwork, stories, interviews, quotes, all sorts of good stuff. And we just want to talk to you a little bit about it. And okay.
All right. Well, what is it?
What is it? So as we're going through all of the collections of Dad's and trying to decide what to do with his steamboat collection, his music collection, his book collection, we discovered these fiddle journals, these 68 fiddle journals that he had been working on. And we knew there was a project there. We knew there was something there. We weren't quite sure what it was. And the more I got to thinking about it, the more Matt Combs' name came to mind. I just thought, I need to talk to Matt. I need to get his input on that. And so he and I tossed the idea around for a while, about a year, 2 years maybe, something like that. And then in the process of doing these donations, we met Greg Reich at the Center for Popular Music, and our hope was to release a whole lot of new John Hartford fiddle tunes into what we call the Fiddle Verse, to let them go out and become hopefully standards and traditionals.
And I think that's probably what he wanted.
I think so.
Creating all that music.
I agree. In fact, a handful of the tunes, about 13 of the tunes that are in the book, have been published before. For anyone who has a copy of the CD Cadillac Rag that he did with the Hartford String Band and Mark Howard. And there are a few of the tunes on there, and there's an interesting story in the book told by Mark Howard in the interview of how that particular CD came to be, which I think is really interesting. But with the exception of that handful of tunes, everything else is brand new, never before, to our knowledge, heard by the public.
That's right. It was one of the things that really surprised me in working on this book is that John, being an immensely creative figure, he was usually not shy about sharing his creations with his friends and his musical collaborators, his fans, the world at large. But so much of this material, while people knew that he was working on it, most people didn't really know exactly what was in there. He didn't bring out these tunes, in jam sessions. He didn't record very many of them. Really seems like he was building up something special.
Yeah.
That was connected to the other parts of his legacy, but in some ways was distinct from it too. And he left that behind after he passed away, and so it was quite an honor for the three of us to go through them and pick out 176 of what we felt was like really the choicest material. But there's just an incredible amount of stuff even beyond that. That one day, we hope will be available to scholars and musicians.
Even if you're not a note reader, I mean, I feel like you just get a sense of your dad just from the first page of the book. I mean, being that everything's written in his own hand, I mean, and just the, few, being it's been out a short period of time, but I've gotten some feedback about it, and it's just so deeply personal. Every picture and everything, you just get a feeling of the man, and it was his personal journal. Every day it was like, here's what's going on, here's where he was. Every tune had written in the upper right-hand corner wherever he was. Either it was mile 200.8, which meant he was at home up on the Cumberland River, or he was in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, getting ready to get on a boat, or or wherever. And it was interesting to watch, for me, having gone through, I read through all the tunes, thousands of tunes to pick out these. Each title had to do with whatever was going on that day. Yeah, and even towards the end of his life, you kind of watched. You watched it happen. There's songs about him going to the doctors, and his people in his family and people he was around and people he loved to play with. It's just a deep personal journal of what he was doing every day. So I feel in that respect you get a real feeling of the man and his process.
Exactly. One of the things that I love about the book is how it does approach the creative process and the way Dad thought about things. It's very outside the box. It's very much idea generation. How do you get those fountains springing up of ideas. And once you turn the faucet on, it starts flowing, and it starts flowing more and more. And I think that's something that's helpful, whether you're a musician or whether you're an artist or any type of creative, is looking through this and seeing how getting inside of a person's head and seeing how they came up with ideas and generated those thoughts. And I think, to me, that makes it more accessible to not just fiddlers, not just musicians, but just the average person.
Right.
So our hope is that for those of you who love the fiddle, for those who don't love the fiddle but would like to love the fiddle, and for those who are just curious, pick up a copy, read it, let us know what you think, and we hope that the love and the enthusiasm and just what we felt about this project comes through in these pages.